My name's Dianne Mathiowetz. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I worked for 30 years for General Motors, and I am a proud UAW member. I also do a radio show, and I have to say that because I'm on the radio, I never have to worry about quieting an audience. Anyway, I do a program every Monday in Atlanta on a station called WRFG, which is a non-commercial, progressive, I call it Liberation Radio, 50 years on air, and the program's called, guess what? The Labor Forum. And we talk about every issue impacting working people, and since October 7th, we have been talking about Palestine. So I threw away my script, so I'm not delivering any other kind of introduction, because I know we're short on time. But I did want to do this. We are starting this panel with tributes to several people who have, okay, thank you, several people who have passed. And as I said, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and I had met Sekou Odinga. Now, I want to just say, I'm going to start out by saying I met him after he had been released from prison. So there are people in this audience, I believe, who worked with, knew Sekou Odinga personally. So if there are such, please just raise your hands, because that means you were part of a struggle that was revolutionary. Thank you much, Bob. All right, wave. Now, in order to give a proper tribute, I called two friends in Atlanta who do and did know Sekou Odinga. And I asked them, if you were here, what would you want this audience to know about Sekou Odinga? So they told me lots of stories, so obviously I can't do all that. But I will say that they told me these two. They said that in 1969, when the FBI and everyone was searching for the Panthers that became the Panther 21, that the police were at the front door of Sekou Odinga's apartment. And as they bashed the door in, he escaped out a back window, went down a drain pipe, across a rooftop, and got away. And then the next thing people knew, he was in Havana. And then the next thing they knew, he was in Algiers, where he started the Black Panthers international section, and that he was involved with SWAPO and the PLO. And then after several years in exile, he decided that the struggle was still in the United States and came back. Then in October of '81, I believe I got the date right, he was arrested. But he was brutally, and I'm going to say this 3 times, brutally, brutally, brutally tortured and beat up by the New York police and other federal agencies. Went to jail, 43 years, I believe the total was. 50. I can't, obviously, I'm not a teacher, I can't even say 30, thank you. And what they said about him, both when he was beaten in jail and then all the time he was in prison, that his concern always was for how are the rest of the comrades? How is my family doing? Not about how he had been treated. He always said that he was a political prisoner, that he was innocent of anything other than the right of the oppressed to rebel. And so I wanted to say that the message that we want to remember about Sekou Odinga was that as we talk here, about the right of the Palestinians, the right of the Yemenis, the right of everybody who is under colonialism and oppression, that they have the right, it is their right. We could actually say their obligation, our obligation to resist. So, Sekou, Odinga, presente. Now, but I was asked to do two. The other person is someone I also never met. Well, I did meet Sekou, but I never met Manuel Terán, the forest defender in Atlanta, known as Tortuguita. And I hope that everybody is very aware of this struggle that has been on now for several years against this Cop City, huge militarized police training center, which the city of Atlanta, really it's the Atlanta Police Foundation, all of the corporations, want to build in a large forest that was was actually legislated to be a public green space. And Tortuguita he lived in Florida, of Venezuelan parentage, came to Atlanta to be one of the forest defenders. And everything I've ever heard about was about gentleness, kindness, concern for nature, and absolute dedication to making sure that this police facility would not be built. He was killed. 1 year anniversary was this past Thursday. It's been 1 year, and the struggle against the police building of this facility continues. So, Tortuguita, presente.